The Ivan controller is both a controller and an information panel. Okay, so as well as controlling a number of different devices, it also gives you some very useful information. It's also very easy to use thanks to its full color touch screen and this little handy home button. Okay. So the information side of it, here we have, in the first button you can see here, shows that it's 24 degrees C, so it tells us what the temperature is in the room. Right next to it we have the button to control the water heater with a little tap on it, and it's showing us that in fact it's 17 degrees C. Now that 17 degrees C relates to the water temperature. Right. So it's very useful because you can tell whether the water's warm enough to have a shower, for example. The next button is the timer button, and it just shows the time of day. The optional pump controller button is here, and then here we have 12 volts, 12.2 volts. That's showing you the condition of your leisure battery. Right. So you can tell immediately whether you need to recharge your battery or not. And up here at 0.0 amps, that's really just telling us that you're not using any mains electricity at this point in time. Right,
okay. So Stanley, how would I actually turn on the room heater?
Well, we just go to the little room heater button, we press the little room heater button, and that brings up the menu, the room heater menu. And really here there are two things that we have to select. One is the energy source, and the other is the temperature that we want to control it to. So as you can see, we have electrical here, gas here, and gas and electric here. So let's say, for example, we're happy with 26 degrees. Right. We want to turn on the room heater, 1000 watts, so we just press that little button. And as you can see now, the room heater has come on. Right. Okay. So the space heater is coming on now to heat the room up to 26 degrees C.
Okay.
And if we hit the handy home button, when we go back here, we can see that this button is turned red. So on the home screen, you can see that the heater is on. Right. The room heater is on. We've selected 1000 watts, so it tells us that. And it also tells us how much mains current we need. So it's showing us that we need 4.4 amps of mains current. Right, okay.
And if I needed to turn on the water heater, I'd press this button?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, and then to turn the water on, I presume I press this one here, do I?
Yes.
Okay, so?
And you can see again that the heater has come on, wirelessly obviously.
Right.
And that's fine, that's a 750 setting that you have selected.
Right.
Again, you can see that that's going to require another 3.25 amps. That's a good setting to have it on for the whole day. Right. So you can just keep the water warm, and because it's a well-insulated heater, there's no problem in that providing sufficient hot water. However, in the morning, if you got up and you wanted to shower quickly and get the heater off during the night time, you could select one of the boost functions. So I've just selected here gas, and as you can see, this little run back timer has started. It's counting back from 15 minutes. Right. I can also put on the electric, or I could put on the electric only. Right. So you can choose either one of those or both. And after the 15 minutes, this will automatically turn the boost setting off and go back to the setting that you had before. So it'll go back to 750 watts, or if you had it off beforehand, it will turn it off.
Okay. And so now if I press the handy home button now, oh, that will show me then that the water heater is on gas and electric. Yes. And that the room heater is on as well. Yes. And the current is now 10.9 from?
Yes. Okay. Yes, the current's now 10.9 amps, and that's useful because, as you know, on the various pitches, you're limited to the amount of electricity that you have.
Yes.
So it allows you to see what's required without having to do the calculations and add them up.
And so I won't make the site trip.
Yeah, yes.
As I might
Hopefully
do.
not.
I'll stop you here, Stanley. I'm sorry. What is this here?
Ah, right. The Ivan has its own built-in diagnostics. So if anything goes wrong with any of the devices, it will come back and tell us. What's gone wrong here is it's saying check the gas supply. And because we're doing this inside, we have no gas connected. And as you saw, I selected gas on the boost setting, and it's saying I can't do that.
No, fair enough.
Okay. So what do you think you would do there?
Well, as we don't have any gas, I think we'll press gas off.
Okay.
Okay, and I can see now that the little gas indicator there has gone off on the heating.
It's gone off, but we're still on the 1500 watts.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, that's grand. Okay, you also said something earlier about timers.
Okay, yes.
Oh,
down here on the little options menu, we can set timers, and I'll just show you now how to do that. But basically, we have 3 timers, 3 on-off timers for each device, for the water heater and for the space heater. So if I go in here to the options, you can see here room timer and water timer. But we want to set the room timer. When we go into the room timer, we can see that there are 3 timed settings throughout the day.
Right.
You can choose the energy source at those time settings.
Right.
Set the time as you wish, and set whichever temperature you would like it to be.
Right. Okay. Okay. So usually I would be cooking tea at 5 o'clock in the evening, and I would usually use gas. So could I change that to a mains instead of?
Yes, you could. Go ahead.
Can I just press these little buttons here?
That's it. So you've just taken the cursor over to here.
And so I move that to. Excellent.
And that's on 2000 watts.
Okay, so I'll be fine for my cooking on gas.
Just press the little handy home button, and that's us home again.
Excellent.
Okay.
Lovely.
The water heater is similar. Okay. The 3 settings, as you can see, one of them is off, so one of the options is to actually have that timer off, so you're only using 2 timers during the day. That's fine. You will notice that there is no temperature setting on here. That's for health and safety reasons. Because we don't want you to heat the water too hot and run the risk of scalding, and we don't want it running sort of lukewarm and run the risk of Legionella. Okay.
To check this, how would I? Are the timers on at the moment, or?
No, if we use a little handy home button, go back.
Okay.
So those are the timers all set. Okay.
Yes, for the heating.
But we haven't activated them. So if you want to use automatic function, the timer function, you would just press this little button here. And when you press that little button, that brings on the timers.
Okay. And does it work in the same way for the water heating?
Well, yes, because actually if you look here, you can see the little timer symbol has come up. The heater here has speeded up. It's gone to a completely different setting. It's gone to 2000 watts. Okay. And you can now see we're using much more current.
Yes.
So it's now being controlled by the timer. And how you know that is because you can see the little timer symbol here.
Okay. So when I press this timer, these little timers come on if the timers are set?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
And if you don't want to use the automatic function, you just turn that off again and it will turn them off.
Excellent.
Incidentally, the space heater continues to run for 3 minutes.
Right.
And the reason for that, there are really 2 reasons. If you've been using it on gas, that's to purge the gas out of the system. But also from an efficiency point of view, it means it extracts all the heat from the heat exchangers before it actually turns it off.
Okay then.
Okay.
So.
I haven't shown you this little button. This little button here is the pump isolator switch. It's optional, and some systems will have this rather than a mechanical switch.
Right.
And really this is just, again, a wireless control for the pump. So if I turn it on here, that switches on the pump isolator. Now, as you can see over here, the pump hasn't actually come on.
No.
And that's because I haven't turned the tap on. So if I turn the tap on, the pressure switch turns on the pump. And if I come back here, I can see that this little pump running light above the isolator switch has come on to show me the pump's running.
Okay.
And again, if I turn that off, turn off that, the pump is turned off by the pressure switch, and then the little light goes out. So that's just a little pump isolating switch. And really the only other button to show you is this little options button.
Right.
Okay. If I select that, you can see there are a number of options.
Right.
This one here is for adding modules by an installer. There's a set clock option, which is very, very simple. We just go in and set the time on the clock.
Okay.
The one I want to go through with you is the options.
Right.
And there are a number of options here. I mentioned the main supply.
Yes.
So in here we can change the setting of the main supply. Okay. So if you're on a pitch where there's only 10 amps available, if you set that at 10 amps, it will warn you if you try to use more than that.
Right. Okay.
This setting here is for brightness. We can set it a number of different brightness levels. Okay. From dim right through to bright. And it's important to remember that there's also a little light sensor here. So even though we've it set at bright, it will still dim down at night time. If the ambient light level drops, the brightness will drop as well. Okay. The next option is a water heater boost time. So when we set the water heater onto boost, it was at 15 minutes.
Right.
It may be that you want to actually have that for a longer boost time.
I suppose if we've got more than one person having a shower?
Yeah, you may want to set it for 30 minutes and leave it at that.
Okay.
Screen off, the screen will turn itself off at the minute after 30 minutes, but we could adjust that right down as low as 3 minutes, so after you've finished the setting it will turn itself off.
Right, okay.
Beep, the little beep you hear every time we turn it on and off,
right,
or every time we hit a button. If you don't like that, if you just want it to operate silently, you can turn that off. So now when we hit the buttons, you don't hear the beep, but I like to hear the beep, so we'll turn the beep back on, okay?
Yes.
Flashing light, this little flashing light here, to show you where the handy home button is. Maybe a distraction at night when you're trying to sleep. So if you wish, you can turn that off. So we'll turn off that and it doesn't flash any longer.
Well, do you know, I quite like the handy home button. Yes.
We'll put that on so that you can find a handy home button.
Exactly.
Yes.
So all these different things it does, is there one more thing it might do for me, Stanley?
Yes, when we were going through the space heater, I didn't show you this little feature with a little frost symbol over here. And if we select that, go back to the home, we can see we have frost protection activated. If you store your caravan somewhere where you've got a mains hookup, what that means is that if we go back to the home screen, you can see that frost protection is turned on. So if the temperature drops below 5 degrees C, that will bring on the space heater just at 500 watts, just to keep the inside of the van from going below zero. That doesn't mean you shouldn't drain your caravan. You should still drain your caravan and winterize your caravan properly.
Okay, well that is really, really lovely. Thank you very much for your time here, Stanley. Thank you.
No problem, Kathy. I hope you found that useful, because obviously you're going to be able to control things automatically. You can see what's happening, and I hope it leads you to having a really enjoyable holiday in your caravan.